In sports, if you want to be the best, there are no off days.
Welcome into the No Off Days podcast. Chris, it is Super Bowl week. It's the last football game until what? I mean, no spring.
Okay.
We don't want to count.
We're not count UFL, although I'm excited about my Birmingham Stallions.
Sure.
As always.
Yeah, and go Anthony Beck.
Of course. Yeah, Battlehawks, yeah.
But until, August, late August?
So I know the other day it was 200 days until college football season. So
All
we're
right.
getting, it's going to be a long.
Whatever that minus the other day.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're looking forward to it. It's Eagles and it is Chiefs, and we're gonna be breaking down this big time matchup. Let's bring BK in to start to get a look ahead, because I believe we've got. Do we have a double feature here today?
Double feature, man. Yeah, it's we're going to start. You can't talk Super Bowl here in the Bay Area without talking with the player, the first Buck player to score in the Super Bowl. And that's Martin Gramatica.
That's right.
He's in New Orleans, working with 2DN, the Univision Sports Network.
Staying busy.
Yeah, staying
Always
busy. He's always working. And then, if that wasn't enough, we're going to talk to Tampa Bay broadcasting legend Rock Riley. He's going to join us. He's also a radio row down there in New Orleans. Get his thoughts on. It's got to be like his 30th Super Bowl he's been to, or something like that.
We were going to send you and Chris down to New Orleans, but we figured you probably didn't want to go to the game, so instead it's Martin and Rock.
Yeah, that's okay.
Well, you were going to make us pay our way too and buy our own tickets, so that was never really on the table.
Share a room,
Yeah,
which
you're gonna
was
have
not
to
going to
eat,
happen.
Yeah. Truck stop food.
I bet Rock's having a good time there, though. I mean, New Orleans has to be one of the safest places in the world right now, and you know that they treat the media like kings when they're in town for the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
you know?
it's chaotic. Have you guys done Super Bowls before? Have you? I mean, well, we kind of covered it here, right?
Yeah, no, I never have. Never been asked to, and maybe one day.
I've been to 3. I was at actually the Super Bowl that Ricky Reynolds was in at there in New Orleans when the Packers played the Patriots. When he was on the Patriots team, yeah.
Okay.
How about that? Were you shooting that game?
Yeah, I was Birmingham NBC, so yeah, I was shooting on the sidelines there. It was Brett Favre's Super Bowl win.
Okay, so that's one. What's 2?
2 was in the Atlanta, the Rams-Titans Super Bowl.
Okay.
All right.
And then
that was a good one. That was the one that came down to the the final
stretch.
tackle there.
And then one here in Tampa, I think. But that was just
The
that was
one
helping
the
out.
last
The
year, Tom
2020,
Brady?
the COVID.
No. I think it was the Ravens.
Oh, okay.
But that I was not even on the field, so I was barely take credit for that. But yeah.
Nice. Yeah, it's always crazy. It's crazy. I've done Miami, New York, the one here. I believe that's it. Those 3.
Is that enough? Are you good now?
Yeah. It's just it seems like a lot of fun, but when you're working the game, I mean, it's cool to be there. There's no question. But when you're working it, they're going to get every pound of flesh out of you.
Sure, they will.
They're going to,
It's not like you're hanging backstage with Shakira as she's warming up.
No, and a lot of times, you're like watching on a monitor, like in some basement. So,
it's never as glorious
as
people
glorious.
think it is.
No, all right. And then at the end of the show, BK.
In the show, how about some prop bets?
Okay.
Oh, I love these.
Yeah, not just these typical what color Gatorade or coin toss. How about some broadcast prop bets? Brady's first Super Bowl broadcasting.
Okay.
So we'll throw some of those out there.
I'll take the over.
You can bet on all of these bets I got coming up.
Okay.
All right.
Can we just give you our money and then is that how it works?
In fact, I think you're holding mine from my winnings this year and the picks. You've already got. I've got some.
We have
in
to
the
make
bank.
picks in this game. So BK, since you are kind of overseeing this, can you make this kind of an all or nothing game? Since I believe I'm trailing Chris by 2.
Trailing by 2.
I'm not going to be able to catch him, but this is the Super Bowl. It's kind of a big game.
Why don't we make it a 2-pointer so you could at least tie me?
The Super Bowl? Make the Super Bowl a 2-pointer?
Yeah, make it a
let's do
2-pointer.
that.
How about a 3-pointer so I can actually win?
No, I'm not comfortable with that. I worked hard to build this lead. I dug out of a hole.
Cato came way back.
It took me a lot of bowl games, Brian.
You came way back.
Okay, so what are we saying?
Super Bowl counted twice. Yeah.
I'm willing to make it a 2-pointer.
You're willing to time
It is
me.
the Super Bowl. I'm willing to beat you by 4.
This guy. All right. Very good. We'll
Thanks,
make
guys.
our picks at the end of the show. All right. Thanks, BK. If you're listening and you want to watch, go to fox13news.com/nodpod. If you're watching and you want to listen or subscribe, take out your phone, zap the QR code on the screen in the bottom right-hand corner, and there you can find all of our shows. Please subscribe, fox13news.com/nodpod. So, of course, the big game is on Fox, and we're always, Fox, always trying to tinker, add to the coverage, make it more engaging, and I thought they did that. They kicked it off the right way. It was opening night earlier this week. And who else but famous Jameis? He's a Fox correspondent. He's out there asking questions to the team. He's throwing out W cookies. What do you feel like that's the future for Jameis? That
Yes.
Media darling.
He's America's new sweetheart.
I think so.
What a makeover he's had. I mean, he's always been kind of likable, but just this past season, some of the things he said on social media really went viral, and he's good with a microphone in front of him. You don't know what's going to come out of his mouth or what's going to go into his mouth. Sometimes it's his own hand, but yeah, I think this is a perfect spot for him.
He's America's most lovable turnover machine. And I think unless he's, quarterbacking for you in a critical moment and he throws a pick, I think everybody loves him. I think I thought it was fun. It was good to see him out there. He was engaging, yes. And they had made these cookies that were the shape of a W, and he was, of course, tossing it because of the infamous Newt Rockne speech that he gave to eat a W. Also this week, Roger Goodell got up there and the referees kind of group, their committee, their
association
issued a statement because they were asked a question about whether or not, and this is something that has kind of been implied throughout the course of the season, downright charged at some point, that the Chiefs are getting calls from the referees, and so they were forced to answer these questions. And Roger Goodell and they both kind of took this posture of like that's a ridiculous claim. Like, how dare you even ask the question? I believe the referees, they said it's insulting.
They did say
preposterous.
that.
Roger Goodell said it's ridiculous. Jackie Chow said it was outrageous and egregious and preposterous. I mean, it was just so over the top in these denials that it makes me feel like you're shaming the reporter for even asking a question that a lot of people are wondering. Now, I get it. It kind of fringes on conspiracy, but the way you answer it makes people feel like, oh, well, you're putting people in their place for even asking a question. But there's a reason why the question's being asked, right? There is video evidence that would say, well, that's kind of a questionable call. And if it repeatedly happens to the same team, again, I'm not trying to further the conspiracy. I'm just saying there's a way that you answer it that says, well, no, of course not. And, we're willing to go back to the tape. And
how can you win, though? That's a no-win situation for Goodell and the official. Like, how do you answer that question that's going
just like I just said?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just say no. No, of course it's not.
So don't say it's preposterous. It's ridiculous. Don't go over the top.
Yeah, because I think when you go over it's the over-the-top denial that makes people feel like, oh, like I'm dumb for asking. You know what I mean? Like all these people that have been wondering the same thing. And again, whether it's legitimate or not, like you have to, I think it disenfranchises certain people, and these are your viewers.
Yeah. Well, I think it is dumb to ask because
how
do you think they're gonna answer it? I feel like all of this is the result of something you acknowledged last week. There is Chiefs fatigue. And when there's a team that keeps winning and winning and winning, they every call that they do get, and yes, they've had some beneficial calls that should have gone the other way. It's going to be magnified, and I think it's when it's Patrick Mahomes, the face of the NFL. He is a flopper. Let's be honest about it. The guy knows how to. He's a gamesman. Like he's gonna. Oh, I'm running out of bounds, but I'm going to slow up at the last second and entice this defender into pushing me, and then Yeah, that's kind of smart. He knows how to work the system. But I do feel like we see it more because it is the Chiefs and they're showing in a big showcase game every week.
Yeah. And I just think that, it also kind of comes out in the same week as the Major League Baseball umpire is
help.
In his little gambling deal. And I don't know. People are always questioning the referees. Are you bought off? Are you real? Who's paying you? And then there is some of that, and that's just part of sports.
Well, let me ask you this: since Chiefs fatigue is real, I think we established that. Who would have benefited more? Who would the NFL have benefited more from playing in the Super Bowl? Buffalo or the Chiefs? I believe it's Buffalo. I believe it would have been a higher rated Super Bowl if it's Buffalo.
Not.
Yes, absolutely.
Do you remember
there are a number of people that aren't going to watch this game because the Chiefs are playing. People would rather see
Taylor
Buffalo
Swift,
in the Super Bowl.
and I rest my case.
Okay.
Taylor Swift and I rest my case.
Well, isn't Josh Allen dating someone that's kind of famous?
But it's not Taylor Swift.
Yeah,
I don't
okay.
believe. I mean, unless you know of something I don't know.
All right.
By the way, another big decision was made this week that the Chiefs, if they win, they can use the word three-peat. And why would that even be a problem, you ask? And that's because Pat Riley, the legendary basketball coach in the NBA,
Yes.
actually owns the trademark to the word three-peat.
So smart.
This is
Brilliant.
amazing.
Yeah.
Like, if you could only do one thing in your life that it is notable and worthy of acclaim, this guy has not only coached in the NBA at the highest levels and is a Hall of Famer, but he owns the trademark for three-peat.
It's almost like who is the March Madness guy that I don't know if he benefits from it like Pat Riley does, but
sings a song?
Jim Nantz. No, the phrase March Madness. Like,
does he own that too?
I'm not sure that if he gets royalties, but
Nantz.
the beauty of this Riley thing is that teams have had to pay him. He did this when he was coaching the Lakers. They had won 2 in a row in the 90s, going for a third. He comes up with three-peat. Now they ended up losing that NBA championship.
That's the irony, is that he's never won a three-peat.
But when the Bulls did it in 93 and then again later in the late 90s, they had to pay him each time.
Yeah.
And it would have been adjusted for inflation, the $600,000 they paid Riley in 1998 would have been worth $1.2 million for the Bulls winning the championship. So who is the biggest Chiefs fan in the Super Bowl?
I mean, it's Pat Riley, and without question. I mean, this is ridiculous to me that he owns this trademark. I read that he receives 5% of every dollar made of any item that has three-peat on it.
So
he's
if the NFL
he's just raking in the cash.
Now the NFL is paying him to use this.
We don't know. It's an undisclosed amount.
But they are paying him, correct?
Yes, they have done a license deal with the word.
So does that help the NFL's perception that they are pro-Chiefs if they're already paying Pat Riley to use three-peat if the Chiefs win? Does that help that conspiracy theory?
It's preposterous. Whatever you're suggesting is egregious. Whatever you are saying right now is insulting, and I'm offended by it. So I was thinking maybe we could kick around some ideas because we're always looking for that next get-rich-quick scheme. And why not
copyright
us,
something.
right? Why not us? That's what I say. Maybe why not us? Is that trademarkable?
Why not us?
So maybe we kick around some trademark ideas
Okay.
and we just see, like, do we think there's a possibility for it? Okay?
Yeah.
All right. You ready?
Yes.
Yeah, hit me with one.
Well, we need something that would be like three-peat, would be used for generations to come anytime a circumstance would come up.
Yeah.
And I couldn't really find anything like that, Scott. One that I should have copyrighted myself as I started my career in Tampa was I came up with this little series we do called Only in Florida. And it's because we have these wacky things that happen only in Florida. And so I made that my mantra. There's branding around it. That's my catchphrase. And I'm not saying that I'm the first person to put those 3 words together, but I do think that I put it out there, and all of a sudden you start seeing it pop up on social media and everything. I should have copyrighted it 8 years ago when I started this series.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll have to check the date on that. I feel like I've heard that for a long time.
I don't think you have.
Maybe
I think I was
haven't.
the first person to put those 3 words together.
I got something I think a little bit easier.
Okay.
What about one-peat?
One-peat.
It's going to happen a lot more frequently, right?
Yes.
We don't have to wait for this once-in-a-generation type of three-peat. A one-peat.
You just peat.
Yeah, it's a one. How about a Super Bowl?
Wait, that one's...
But with 5 L's at the end.
Oh.
Super Bowl?
Super Bowl.
What about a Super Duper Bowl? Just in case, right? Just in case there's like one game that's better, right? The Super Duper Bowl.
It's like the Chiefs play the Chiefs somehow in the future.
Well, I'm just trying to think. It's like when you purchase like a website and you just want like a misspelled version,
right?
So it sends traffic your way.
You just sit on it for a while and wait until.
I'm just thinking maybe someday Super Duper Bowl.
I said one on the news the other night. If I were a meteorologist, I would totally copyright this. I don't think this has ever been said before. Our famous meteorologist, Paul Delgado, was when it was very cold in Florida that one week, and it even snowed in the northern part of Florida. And people here in the Tampa region were telling Paul, hey, I'm seeing snow. This is snow. And Paul said, no, that isn't snow that you're seeing. That is drizzle that looks like snow, wind-blown drizzle. And I said, that's snizzle.
Snizzle.
Now I feel like
that's also a rapper, though.
I feel like Snoop would get credit for it, but I said it. I should have copyrighted that.
You did.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's probably got all the Izzles copyrighted.
He's probably done Snizzle.
Yeah. What about, Patrick Mahomes? He's on quite the trajectory. What about Patrick McGoat?
He sounds Irish.
It could be like a children's book, a series
a little
of
Patty McGoat.
Yeah, Patrick McGoat.
Okay, I like that one.
Mahomes Skillet.
Mahomes Skillet.
Yeah.
What
do you think?
Maybe he sells home insurance at some point.
Hail to the Chief. How about hail no to the Chiefs?
Oh no! Yes, I think there's the whole country saying that right now.
It's a different song.
Do you have anyone like this, Scott? I think this is. Yes. I think I need to get this copyrighted. You have these coworkers who run around acting super busy, but no one can tell you what they do for the company. That is called a faux worker.
Oh,
that's a faux worker.
I like it.
Yeah, you know people like that, don't you?
Yeah, but people would look at it and they think, are you spelling it PH? Because that could be it might be pha worker. Like
FAU.
And you think they make big bowls of
well, that would be good
noodle.
too. Yeah. I wish we had a coworker that made pha. I got one.
Yeah.
This is where you feel. I like words that describe a lot of emotions tied into one thing, and this is for someone that feels humbled, mortified, and humiliated. They are homorphilated. Have you ever been homorphilated?
I feel many times on this podcast.
Yes, you're homorphilated.
Yeah, that does sound like a condition that needs some type of ointment, though. What about referees? Referees that are paid off by the Chiefs. Referees.
You keep going back to this.
Okay.
I know you were angling for a Reese's peanut butter cup sponsorship. The referees.
No, yeah.
What about has anyone copyrighted nodpod? I mean, certainly we had our legal look into that.
No, I think we're in violation.
Oh, okay. Strike that.
It's a sleep mask.
Edit that out.
Yes. Okay. All right. Coming up on the other side, we're going to get into our guest and our first guest on deck. He's a Super Bowl winner himself. On the other side, we are joined by none other than Martin Gramatica. Welcome back to the nodpod. Time for our first guest, Chris. He is a Buccaneer legend, a Super Bowl champion himself, and he is the Bucs analyst on the Spanish broadcast. We welcome in Martin Gramatica, coming to you from the Big Easy. Oh, he's standing right in front of the Superdome, lit up. It's beautiful. All right, I got to ask you this, Martin, because when I think New Orleans, I think I want a good meal. That's probably the first thing on my to-do list. Have you had a solid meal yet in New Orleans?
Oh. Listen, I'm here in the parking garage just for you guys, so you guys can get the scenery of the dome. By the way, so I did it just for you guys. I came up the stairs running.
That's beautiful.
But the first thing I do is go to Drago's. Charboy oysters, amazing seafood. So I'm gonna have to definitely work out when I get home because the meals are never bad here in New Orleans.
Oh, I love it, man. I love it. All right, so much going on this week, and you've been to Super Bowls. You've experienced it before on both sides of it. I'm curious though, this week, what it's like from a player's perspective, what it's like to kind of be bubbled off, and maybe you don't get to experience all the fanfare. When you went through that many moons ago, did you know what was going on outside of your little bubble? Could you feel what Super Bowl week was like from a player's perspective? I'm just curious what they're going through right now because I know we're all pumped up for it.
Sure. No, it's a little bit different than, obviously 20 some odd years ago. It's changed a little bit. It's been more commercialized as far as like the opening day. Our media day was very quiet. We went in, had a couple interviews, and then we left. So it's changed a lot, but one of the things that Gruden did, and he talked about it, we try to keep the week as consistent and as normal as possible as far as our team, our practice time, our breakfast, lunch, dinner, everything happened at the same time that it happened in Tampa, and to try to keep it normal. So we were there for a business trip, so we didn't know what was going on. The players don't enjoy the Super Bowl week. You're there to win the game, and then you can enjoy after that. So everything that's going on is for their families, maybe the fans, but not for the players.
Martin, during this time, when you go to cover a Super Bowl, I'm sure you've been to many since your time that you and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers won that one, does that bring back memories? And what would you tell the players that, when that game, the clock hits 0 Sunday night and the confetti falls, whether it's green or white or gold and red, whoever is standing on that field is going to have something that they've waited their whole life for and worked their whole life for. Is that do you take time as a former player to soak that in?
I do. Every time I'm in a Super Bowl, the young players probably do not realize, especially the ones that hadn't won a Super Bowl, that it's a life-changing game, and I feel like you could play in the NFL, and it's a great thing to play the NFL, but to be a Super Bowl champion, that puts you above a certain in something that it's hard to explain. But these kids, the younger players especially, probably don't realize the meaning of this game, because you always want to win a championship and you want to win the Super Bowl, but it's life-changing because now you're a Super Bowl champion for life. So anytime I'm around the players or around the like anything Super Bowl, it brings me back to our week, even though it was a stressful week because you're concerned about winning the game. But it's like those memories come back, and we're so thankful that we won the game, because can you imagine going through everything and not winning the game? And nobody remembers the second place, especially when it comes to a Super Bowl. So it's always brings back great memories.
Well, and it's something that the Philadelphia Eagles know quite well, because we saw this Super Bowl play out 2 years ago, and they know what it's like to have their heart ripped out, specifically by Patrick Mahomes and those Chiefs. I'm just curious what your sense is to how this game's going to play out. And do we experience the inevitable Chiefs three-peat again, if I can even say that term without paying Pat Riley some money? Or do the Eagles get retribution here? Do they get some payback?
I feel the Eagles are super focused. I felt like the Chiefs were a little too relaxed, even when they landed with their plane. Like, they're so used to being here, and I'm not sure it's a good thing to be too relaxed because it's a Super Bowl. So I feel like this is the year where Philadelphia, with the running game with Barkley, they can control the ball. They can keep Patrick Mahomes on the bench and off the field. That's the only way you beat him, because if he's on the field, he's going to have a chance to win. So the only way you do it is by not allowing him to be on the field. So that's the recipe I think Philadelphia's got to have, is we've got to have long drives, sustained long drives, chew up the clock, and keep Patrick Mahomes on the bench, not on the field. So I think they have a really good chance.
I was kind of looking back at your Super Bowl that when the Bucs won in 2003. That was the first time that the league's number one ranked offense, the Raiders, then faced the number one ranked defense in the Super Bowl, and we saw how that turned out, right? And so, when you look at both defenses in this game, who do you think's playing the better defense right now? Is it the Eagles or the Chiefs?
Well, I think that in the playoffs, the Chiefs showed a little bit more. But I do think that the Chiefs has not seen this type of pressure that the Eagles can put on him. Patrick Mahomes in that offense, where if we know what Tampa did to the Chiefs in that Super Bowl is pressured Patrick Mahomes. He ran for, I think it was like 480 yards side to side that game. That's got to be what the Eagles have to do to the Chiefs. And I think the Eagles are a little bit hotter, especially beating a Washington team that was coming in super hot and really making that offense look average. So I think I have to give the nod to the Eagles right now.
Well, I want to take the lazy gamblers approach, and that is, of course, the Chiefs are going to win because they always win.
Right.
So let's say that that's what happens, Martin. And again, it's a repeat. Patrick Mahomes is, again, a Super Bowl MVP. I know the odds just seem unbearably long, but let's say he does. Where is your view of Mahomes in the Mount Rushmore? This is a Mount Rushmore question, the Mount Rushmore of quarterbacks, because I know people are saying, well, even one thing Tom Brady never did was win a three-peat. So Patrick Mahomes gets, what would that be, his fourth MVP?
It'd be his fourth.
Fourth MVP, fourth Super Bowl. So not as many Super Bowls as the GOAT, Tom Brady. But where does he land in the hierarchy?
Well, you definitely put him right under Tom Brady. Obviously, you can never knock off Tom Brady until somebody gets to 7 or even more. And I think if they do get to 7, then Tom Brady will have the advantage of saying, well, I beat you in a Super Bowl. So that might still give him the edge. But the three-peat, that's never been done. So that's something where you can say Patrick Mahomes can edge Brady. But I think until they get that to 7 or get close to that, you always have, what Brady did. And then coming to Tampa and winning one his first year in Tampa, you've got to give him the nod as the GOAT. But Patrick Mahomes is right there, right behind him. I think a close second for sure.
Well, let's talk about the money position, kicker. We can't get you out of here without a kicker question. Which unit? You scored, by the way, first Super Bowl points in Buccaneers history with a 31-yarder. Which team has the better kicker here? Is it Butker or is it Elliott?
Well, both kickers have had a really good year. Butker's coming off knee surgery a few weeks ago. Now he's got back in rhythm, and I feel like if you have to pick one, I would go with Butker just for the simple fact that he has the experience. He's played more playoff games. He's played more the Super Bowl. He won the Super Bowl last time with 11 seconds. So he's got that experience. So I had to give it to Butker, but Elliott's an excellent kicker himself. So if it comes down to a kick, I'm confident that both of these guys can make it, but Butker has a little bit more experience.
Martin, go get you some oysters. Have some fun in New Orleans. I know you're grinding, you're working, but enjoy the game. Thanks for checking in with us. We appreciate it.
And thanks for the background, too.
Yeah, no doubt.
You're welcome. Hey,
Beautiful.
Listen, anything for you guys. So I appreciate you guys having me on, and I'll be back soon.
Sounds good.
Thanks,
The great Martin Gramatica live from New Orleans. Not quite live, but we say that anyways. All right, coming up on the other side, we're going to get kind of the media take as one longtime sports anchor reporter, Rock Riley, joins us. He, too, in New Orleans from a different location, from his underground bunker.
Not as scenic.
Up next. Welcome back to the No Off Days podcast. Time for our next guest, Chris, and he is longtime sports anchor reporter here in Tampa. He is the host of the Rock Stops Here podcast. He is none other than Rock Riley, coming to you live from NOLA, and look at him on Radio Row, ready to roll. How many Super Bowls is this for you, Rock?
Oh, my God, I've lost count. But you know what? Each one is better. Very, very honored. And don't take it for granted, Scott.
You know, each time, and I know you've been to NOLA many times, but it always has kind of that electricity, that party kind of atmosphere. How much different is it on a Super Bowl week versus, like, say, a week 8 of the regular season?
Well, it's funny you say that because right before I had to check into my hotel, I was here at Radio Row all day, and it was late, and I just got back, and the guy goes, "It never stops." But he's 75 years in New Orleans, and he's like, they party all day, all night, even if there's no Super Bowl. But I will tell you this, very, very safe, secure. There is a lot of security here, more than I've seen for any Super Bowl, shutting down streets, cops with guns. And I even said, hey, there's going to be a media party tonight. If I'm walking back at like 10:30, 11, they said, you can walk anywhere around the street. You'll be safe for this week.
Yeah, got to be one of the safest places on the planet right now with all of that. So, Rock, first of all, we didn't get the invite to the media Super Bowl party. Maybe it got lost in the mail. But how has you've covered so many of these? Radio Row is kind of a spectacle in itself. But how has that changed over the years? Given that there are larger media companies have kind of bought out some of the smaller ones, or is Radio Row still the circus that it was, say, 20, 25 years ago?
Oh, even more so because there's more content creators, more podcasts. Everyone does video. Everyone is doing video. So, I mean, it really has changed an awful lot. And they're opening it up now. They see it's not just the traditional, radio or TV stations. And I'm telling you what, some of these sets are pretty elaborate. And a lot of the players, like players that aren't playing and they're here, they might be pitching a product that they just have their agents and they want to do interviews and keep their brand going. Younger players, they're all aware of their brand. So it really has changed.
Well, we know about guests coming on to Hawk Product. That happens quite a bit on our little feeble podcast here, Rock. So I'm curious if you ran into our good buddy Jameis Winston. He kind of stole the show on opening night the other night. He's doing the reporter thing as he's now a free agent. He was passing out W's. Did you happen to cross paths with him?
I just heard a woman from Sports Illustrated saying, we're getting Jameis either tomorrow or the next day. That's the hope that Jameis will come to Radio Row. Fox Digital hired him to be a big personality and also go around to where he eats, some of the hot spots in New Orleans, because he was here for a couple of years as a Saint and he loves Louisiana. So that's why they hired him. And I think it's kind of like a tryout to see how Jameis does. So we're going to keep our eye open for him. No doubt about that.
Yeah, I mean, look, you can never get too out in front of something like that. We don't. Hopefully, he has a long NFL career, many more years to come. But I think he's already kind of greasing the wheels. So, what are some of your big takeaways as you've had an opportunity to probably talk to some players and coaches and dip your toes in so far early in the week? What are some of your impressions? What are the things you're hearing, Rock?
Well, mostly everybody like going around, and when it gets to the prediction of the game and breaking it down, almost everybody here is picking the Chiefs. So today I went over to Chris Sims, and Chris Sims used to be a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. He remembers when we covered him. I said he left his spleen on the field. He almost died, and it was true. And he goes, I love Tampa. I really do. And he told me that he believes that the Eagles are one of the he thinks they're the best NFL team in 20 years. Now I know he has some outrageous takes, and he goes, I am picking the Eagles. He thinks that the Eagles are going to end the Chiefs' reign. So then I was also asking him about the Bucs and Baker Mayfield. He loves the offense and with the running attack and Mike Evans and what Baker's been able to do. And I said, what about the Liam Cohen situation? He goes, that was odd. And he goes, I don't blame Liam so much. I blame the Jaguars. They fired the GM. Once they fired the GM, they bring him back. They're going to quadruple his salary. They tell him, don't say anything about this second interview to the Bucs. What was Liam supposed to do? All right, you know what? I'm going to make $13 million. Do I go with them or do I go back here? So he admitted that it was an odd situation. But overall, he thinks the Buccaneers have a shot next year if they can shore up their defense to get to the big game.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I think the Bucs they're still in a good spot, and the promotion of Grizzard to offensive coordinator, a guy that has some familiarity with the system, and we wish Liam Cohen the best of luck. We've kind of went down that road last week, and I think a lot of people kind of made more out of it in terms of what it said to his character than I think you really probably can read into the situation. We all understand how the business is. But you touched on a lot of people that you're hearing some buzz about picking the Eagles because it feels like this is it's the Chiefs' time. It's their rite of passage that they just get to this point, then they win Super Bowls, and there's just no stopping this train. But when you hear the players talk, I mean, how confident do the Eagles sound as they get ready to tangle in part 2?
Sirianni today was talking about Jalen Hurts, and he goes, he is at his best when everybody thinks that there's no chance. He goes, look at his record from high school to college. Look at his record since 2022. It's pretty much like the same as Mahomes, but Mahomes, you got to give him credit. When he needs the 2-minute drill, he always gets it done. But Sirianni was saying that they're hearing it. Same thing. Oh, they're not going to beat Mahomes. Jalen Hurts, because they started out this year. They were 2-2. He wasn't playing at his best. They all got together. They ran Saquon Barkley more. And then look at the game, this last game, the AFC Championship game, or the NFC Championship game. Jalen Hurts had a really good game. So Sirianni said, keep doubting him. That's when he's at his best.
Rock, as much as we like to look at these offenses and see Pat Mahomes and Kelsey and Saquon Barkley and A.J. Brown and all these superstars, I really think this Super Bowl is going to come down to two coordinators, and that's Vic Fangio and Steve Spagnuolo. Which coordinator do you give the edge to in this matchup?
Well, if you look at Vic Fangio's record when he's against Mahomes, I think it's 0-8. And Spags, that's who Baker calls him. Baker was telling me he has so much respect for him. He's one of the best in the game. So if you really look at it like that, I got my money on Spagnuolo. But, Vic Fangio, I mean, it didn't work out as a head coach. There was some Denver media that were here, and they were asking him, and he's like, look, that's in the past. I'm in a good spot right now. So I think it's big for him to show that he can come through as a defensive coordinator and stop Mahomes and company like the Buccaneers did when it was COVID and they had that Super Bowl in Tampa, if you remember.
Well, we are excited for Super Bowl 59 coming your way on Fox, and the great Rock Riley holding it down in NOLA for us. I like you keeping it a low profile right now. Not partying, keeping your nose clean, right?
Oh, but No, yeah, exactly.
He's got a police escort.
I am a professional. And if I do anything, I'm not going to say it.
You're not going to say it.
Or post it.
Absolutely. He is Rock Riley. Follow him on X, and as he does his thing and makes the march down the French Quarter. Thank you so much, Rock. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Rock.
A pleasure, guys.
Awesome. Coming up on the other side, we are going to get into some of the prop bets for the Super Bowl. BK is going to throw some out there.
All right.
Probably some that would include Taylor Swift or
streaking.
Something. Streaking. Does that happen? Stick around. Nodpod continues after this. Welcome back to the No Off Days podcast. It is time for our fun block. Let's bring BK in. BK, we had some pretty good guests on this show. Martin Gramatica, Rock Riley, getting a nice little flavor of New Orleans. The only thing missing is our own plate of some char-grilled oysters.
Yeah.
Well, while you were doing those interviews, I happened to look up copyrights. And guys, if we want to pour our money together, 11 Pete has not been taken.
11
Okay.
Pete.
11 Pete. So if the KC goes on a run,
Right.
money right there, guys.
You know, what in what sport is an 11 Pete most likely? Is it Joey Chestnut? Would he be the first to
could
like
be.
11
Well, but
Pete
even
in
his
something?
streak, because they DQ'd him, remember?
Oh, right.
He didn't compete
Now he
last
has to
year
start over.
Because the what was it, the hot dogs that he was eating?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a brand ambassador situation going on.
Yeah, I still like one Pete. I think that let's set the bar real low.
There you go.
Pete.
Yeah.
All right, you ready for some prop bets?
Yes,
do
I live for this stuff.
Tom Brady's first broadcasting Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people will be watching him. Got some prop bets about the broadcast itself, some dealing with Tom Brady.
This is
Why are people wishing
is this
Tommy
a real,
ill?
Is this a real bet?
These are real bets. You
I
ready?
haven't even noticed it. Is this a thing with him?
With what?
That his voice cracks?
It does a little, yeah.
Yeah. How many times during the game will his voice crack?
Now, is there a difference between like a crack and a hiccup or
I don't know
like
what
who's deciding?
Who is the judge? And let's say that the over/under is set at 2.5 voice cracks during the broadcast. That's what Brian tells us.
So
anyway.
the average is probably 3. I would say, look, Tommy, he's going to show out. It's the biggest game of the year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even though he's not playing, like he's still performing. He's going to bring his A game, of course. So I'm taking like way under. I'm gonna go under. I say we maybe get half a crack, maybe.
Just a
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes the voice crack adds to the drama. We all remember. I mean, that's what Sean McDonough's famous for, right? You know, a football game's getting good when McDonough's voice cracks. So,
Okay.
so
Is
maybe
he calling the game?
Brady tries to get. No, I'm saying maybe Brady borrows from his textbook. I'm going to go over. I'll go over 2.5 Brady cracks.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm with you, Cato. Did you hear him? NFC Championship? It was kind of.
He's a little scratchy.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
It's a little high pitch.
That's
there.
what he calls his buddy Jim Gray, scratchy.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know what the history is on that nickname. Okay.
How about this one? You can actually bet on these, by the way. Will Kevin Burkhardt or Tom Brady have beads on during the game? Those Mardi Gras beads.
No, these are classy individuals. That they will leave that for a sideline reporter or some type of halftime.
That'll be
performance.
Jameis. That's Jameis Winston will wear the Mardi Gras.
It'll be. I think when they toss down to like the pregame or mid halftime show, and it's like Terry Howie and them. Like Terry will have beads on.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
on
no, I don't think
around his head.
Tom
And for our listening audience, in this prop bet, the yes, they will wear beads is set at plus 600. The no is minus 1,500, which tells you the odds makers don't think this is happening. So I'll say no Mardi Gras beads for Brady or Burkhardt.
How easy would that be to just make that bet yourself
know.
and then slip those beads on?
Right?
Well, that's the thing. Some of these can be manipulated.
I mean, seriously.
I poured some Tabasco in Tom's water. His voice cracked again.
How about this one? What will be the primary color of Tom Brady's tie? Blue, gray, silver, no tie, red or black?
Okay, blue's the favorite
Blue's
at plus
the favorite.
175.
Yeah.
It's remember the little rhinestone, like the stone.
Yeah, but with the little strings that
I
come
could
down?
see- no, that's the bolo.
No, that's a bolo. Okay.
That would be a sweet look, but
Yeah.
that's not very New Orleans-y.
No.
No, I think he's going to do a classy. And let's see, we have a red team, so he's not going to do that. We have a green team, so he's not going to do that. I'm going to say blue. I'm going to say Tommy goes blue.
Yeah, I'm going to go black. He's going to really class this up. This is a New Orleans affair.
It's not a funeral.
This is a New Orleans affair, though. You know, Saints colors are black. He and Burkhart.
You know what I kind of like? What about gold? Like a gold.
Well, Burkhart wears gold. Brady wears black. There you go.
Well,
You get a little Mardi. Maybe he goes purple for Mardi Gras, but I'm going to go black at plus 1,200 there. I could put $10 down there and make a pile.
Yeah, I'm going to keep it safe and go 175 blue.
Okay.
I'm going silver. New Orleans, that's where Brady won his first Super Bowl. With the Patriots, silver helmet.
No, it's a Raiders. He's wearing a Raiders tie.
There you
That's
go.
why the black. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, that's why
No,
he's
it's
wearing black.
too obvious.
Oh, that's a good one there. Okay, we've I don't know if we went over already in this show on this one. How many times would a phrase three-peat be used on the broadcast?
On our broadcast? Because
No,
we're way past
We're
that.
way
past
over.
this.
Okay. So they've set the over-under at 1.5. That
Thanks.
doesn't seem.
Now, do they have
Like
to pay
much.
Pat Riley for saying the word three-peat?
I thought the three-peat just applied to merchandise and
Trademark.
apparel.
Yeah, it's
Trademark.
It's trademark.
Different than copyright.
Right.
Okay.
Right?
I didn't go to that class. I don't know, but
Yeah.
I think that just applies
Com
to.
law. You took com law, BK.
Copyright is more printed or authored works, whereas trademark is more brand and logos and
There
stuff
we
like
go.
that.
Look
So
at him.
Oh, look, he's spitting it out.
He's a legal guy.
Oh.
I'm gonna say over. Yeah. I mean, just two mentions in the whole broadcast.
That seems low. That's free money there. I'm going to say over, especially if the Chiefs win.
I'm gonna parlay that with Brady's blue tie.
This tells me that Vegas doesn't think the Chiefs are winning, because if the Chiefs win, we're going to hear that constantly.
Yeah.
they may know something. Okay, I put this one in for Cato. Which will be said first in relation to Jalen Hurts? Oklahoma Sooners or Alabama Crimson Tide?
Okay, Sooners is the favorite, minus 400.
Yes.
Crimson Tide getting some juice there at plus 250. I think it will come down to this. It will come down to relationships with other players on the field, and I think we could see it at the coin toss if Hurts comes out for Philadelphia and Creed Humphrey, the center for the Chiefs, who played center at Oklahoma with Jalen, comes out. I think we're going to get the Sooners first.
No, I think it's going to be Alabama, because they're going to say it in the order in which he attended these universities. Alabama and Oklahoma product, Jalen Hurts. So yeah,
Ooh.
of course it's going to be Alabama.
That's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, I'll take the money on that.
That's easy. Okay.
Okay, I put this one in for Scott.
Thank you.
Will an unauthorized person enter the field of play? Unauthorized meaning streaker. Yes or no?
Well,
Yes.
it doesn't necessarily mean streaker. What other kind of I once heard a great story of a lion that was let loose on a football field, and it mauled.
Get him off me!
There's blood! There's blood everywhere.
And then he beat the drum. He beat the drum.
He beat
and the
that
lion,
drum,
The
and
lion
that lion.
stops.
Yeah, he checked that lion. That's what he did. That's Crazy George episode 37.
It's back
What
in.
is
Yeah,
that?
got to go back in the Wayback Machine.
Classic. Yeah, no. Not in light of what happened, with the terrorist attack there recently.
Yeah,
they're
they
going to be
can't
on
have-
top of all of this stuff. If someone wants to enter the field of play, they're going to serve 25 to life. So it's not happening.
Yeah, I think it's going to be, like he said, really tight. I don't see, unless it's one of these stage things where the guy is he's got a brand on him, like, Buc-ee's, and it's part of an ad. So I'll say no. I'll say no streaker this year.
Unless it's like we can get off on a technicality, like it's an unauthorized, like the person, he was supposed to be a security guard watching the inside of the tunnel, but he was he forgot where he was, and now he's on the field perimeter.
Okay. Yeah.
Technicality,
Yeah, it could be.
and he's naked.
He forgot his clothes as well.
It's just I hate it.
My uniform. So drafty in here.
I always have these dreams.
Yeah.
Finally get my opportunity to work the NFL Super Bowl and forget my pants.
If someone did do all that, would it be a male or a female?
Oh wait, we're still going on
I
this.
guess so. We can.
Well, if it happened, it would probably be a female, because they'd probably get off, easier.
I don't think so. I think the female will get off easier, but I think if it happened, it would be a male, because they're generally dumber and more willing to do these things.
This is true.
I mean, look at where the odds are set. Mel is a huge favorite there.
Yeah, but just because the female is the underdog means that whoever's gonna make them. They're going to be paid
I
off,
see.
and they'll
So
make
they're
more
gonna-
money
okay.
to get a female outfit.
There we go. It's
They're
part
doing
of,
it precisely to hit on this bet.
Probably a Chiefs fan too.
Yeah.
God, always thinking there.
Part of the Chiefs conspiracy.
If this unauthorized
Referees.
person ran out on the field, how long would they be out there before
This
they got
is really,
taken
we're
down?
really.
We're going deep on the streaker
We are,
here.
dude, you can bet on these things.
There's no way.
You can.
17 and a half seconds.
You can-
Not even close. I mean, they're going to be Wait, how long will they be on the field? Okay, well,
For the over/under
if
is
you're
set.
tackled and then you got to be hog-tied and you got to be
no,
brought
I
off
think
the
you just got to be taken down.
before you're taken down.
Yeah.
No, it,
Oh.
it says on the field, and that's where these Vegas things come in. Like, is this a technicality?
Yeah. If
maybe
it's
you're
on
right.
the field, I'm gonna say over because it's gonna take some time. You know, you got to wrap them up, and but the
Handcuff 'em,
actual
yeah.
evasive portion of the streaking, that'll be done in.
Well, I went. I know
8
you guys know. Sometimes I like to watch videos like this. I went back the other day and watched the streaker video from the Tampa Bay Super Bowl in 2020.
Yeah.
Remember the
Yeah.
guy came on the. He was on the field at least for 25 seconds, but that included the time he was tackled and hogtied and held down on the in the end zone.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So, but I think if that's
Chris always doing his research.
yeah, if that's exact on the field, how much time? I think that's over. I think it's way over.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you got to trust the person up, and
Yeah. How much would you have to be paid to? I'm not saying streaking, just to run out on the field and to create a scene. How much? How much would I have to pay you?
everyone
Come
has
on.
a price.
Every BK?
No, there's no way I'd do that. Not at the
$1
Super
million.
Bowl. No. No, man. If I just
If I did it though, okay.
$100 million.
Oh, I'd do that then.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we
Yeah.
found it. Somewhere between one.
It has to
and
be enough for me to lose my job because that
Right.
probably happened. So what could set me up?
maybe.
For life? Yeah.
Or maybe it's a viral moment and you get a raise.
Yeah.
You're like, wow.
Maybe I've got some logo plastered on me as I streak across. I'm already making money.
Fox 13.
Yeah.
Fox 13. Get the Fox local app. Woo! All right. Very good. Any more?
No, we're done, man.
We're done. All right. That's a wrap. Super Bowl coming your way. Super Bowl 59.
Did we do our picks? Are we not
Oh,
we're
let's
not
do our picks.
We're not gonna
Who you got?
Eagles.
You got the Eagles.
Yeah.
I got the Chiefs, of course. I don't even know what the spread is. What's the spread?
Chiefs 1.5.
Outright. It's
Chiefs
outright.
1.5.
Okay. I got Chiefs.
I think Eagles
Chiefs to win
win
by
by more than 3 or 4, actually.
Okay,
but, yeah.
very good. I'm ready to. We're gonna tie our picks this year. I can't wait. All right, for the nodpod crew and on behalf of Chris and BK, I'm Scott. Until the next time we are on, there are no off days.
Happy Super Bowling.